Coming up on AgweekTV, the extreme cold takes a toll on producers and livestock. People are drinking less beer. What does that mean for barley growers? Our livestock tour continues with a look at one operation that has changed its focus from dairy to beef. And there's new help available for urban farmers in Minnesota. Welcome to AgweekTV. I'm Emily Beal. The Great Plains saw some very cold weather this week, reaching well into negative double digits. With those drastic drops in temperatures, livestock producers had to work extra hard to protect their animals from cold stress.
With temperatures well below zero this week, the Vanderwall family makes sure all their cattle have extra bedding in the feed yard.
From a feedlot perspective, obviously we're more confined. So then we have come in and bed cattle with generally use corn stalks as bedding. We try to keep them as dry as possible and provide as much corn stalk bedding where we think is feasible.
Shelter belts play a crucial role in protecting the cattle on pasture from these frigid weather conditions.
We've been blessed over the years that our parents and grandparents have built nice shelter belts. So the cattle have access, as far as the cows, to get on any side of the shelter belt that they want to.
They try their best to determine where the cows will be during the cold snap.
So what we've done is went out and tried to pinpoint where we think they're going to be at. And that's where we're putting down some more bedding for them, trying to feed in those locations so they will stay hopefully out of the wind.
Temperatures don't need to be below zero for cattle to experience cold stress.
For cattle here in the northern plains that have a full, heavy, dry winter hair coat, that would be anything under about 18 degrees or so.
When experiencing cold stress, cattle will try to conserve body heat.
So they're going to, bunch up in groups, try to minimize their surface area by hunching up a little bit to protect themselves from the effects of cold temperatures. They're going to seek out wind protection, or they'll seek out bedding.
They will also increase their feed intake.
For things like the cow herd or calves that are on high roughage diets, we need to be prepared to offer more feedstuffs simply because to let those cattle express that desire to eat more and then provide additional calories. For cattle on high concentrate diets, it becomes slightly more complicated. We want to be careful about simply providing additional feed when a lot of that's going to be starch. In those cases, maybe slight increases in roughage may be appropriate.
In a feedlot, it can be hard to maintain consistent feed times during these weather events.
With blowing snow, cold temperatures, this has a way of exposing any weaknesses we might have in terms of physical facilities. Fuel filters that gel, tractors that won't start, snow that needs to be moved. So anything we can do to, and it's easier said than done, but to maintain a consistent feed delivery is going to be helpful in terms of keeping cattle on feed.
But at Vanderwall Feed Yard, their cattle are ready to handle these challenging conditions.
I think those animals have been built and they've been genetically put in place, and God has provided them with the proper knowledge, I think, to prepare for the winter.
SDSU Extension has partnered with Mesonet Stations to develop the Livestock Stress Tool, which shows the stress the livestock are under in different temperatures across South Dakota. A growing number of farmers are going organic, and Minnesota's Ag Commissioner says there's growing opportunity for them. At the 21st Annual Minnesota Organic Conference in St. Cloud, producers shared their thoughts and concerns about a variety of topics, including buffer zones, water quality, dairy losses, and access to health care. State Ag Commissioner Tom Peterson says there are lots of opportunities for organic producers.
We see interest in corn and soybeans are organic, and then also in the livestock, there's a lot of folks here too who raise mostly beef and pork. In some dairy, there's interest in dairy right now. Some of the organic co-ops are actually looking for dairy farmers to transition.
Peterson encourages organic growers to get involved with their local boards to help shape ag policy. Beer sales are down across the country. That means less demand for barley and questions for barley growers who contract with malting and brewing companies. We take a closer look in this week's Ag Week cover story.
Americans are drinking less beer, and that means, at least for now, demand for malting barley is also down.
It's been dropping off as, a little bit in the U.S. as, tastes have been changing over to, wine, distilled spirits.
But Steve Edwardson with the North Dakota Barley Council says the main factor is that the last couple of years were good for barley production. So right now there's an excess on hand. Farmers who typically contract barley acres with Anheuser-Busch, for example, say the company has changed its contract to offer 3 times in just a few months, lowering production, increasing storage times, and the 2024 contract price is down from last year.
So there's extra production in the pipeline right now, and it's just going to take a little bit of time for the industry to work that through. What impact does that have for 2024? Likely that there'll be lower levels of barley production until the extra inventories work through.
North Dakota, Montana, and Idaho are the country's prime barley growing states, but Edwardson says if production levels are down, there are a lot of different crops that growers can raise.
So they'll just look for other alternatives, and as long as barley is economically profitable and agronomically viable for their operations and fits with their current year cropping plan, they'll raise it. And if it's not available as a viable option, they'll raise something different. So that's just business. That's the business of agriculture.
You could read more in the next AgWeek magazine or at agweek.com. Up next on AgweekTV, our annual livestock tour continues with a stop at a farm that switched from dairy to grass-fed beef.
North Dakota Farmers Union is hosting the Evolution Ag Summit on Tuesday, February 20th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the NDFU headquarters in Jamestown. This is a one-day event focused on the value of implementing carbon sequestration practices on North Dakota farms and ranches. Topics will include industry perspectives, agronomics and economics of soil carbon sequestration incentives, and a farmer-rancher perspective panel. Register online at ndfu.org/evolutionag.
A farmer's work is never done. You're not just planting a seed or harvesting a crop. You're growing a legacy. When you're up before dawn and out long past dusk, you need a banker who will work with your schedule, not the other way around. At Choice, we do banking differently, giving farmers like you time back to focus on what really matters. Choice Bank, top North Dakota Ag Bank for 10 years running, and always people first.
Improve the profitability of your ranch by partnering with Top Herefords. Attend the bull sale February 9th at the ranch in Grace City, North Dakota. When you buy a Top Herefords bull, you're getting top-of-the-line genetics and benefits of marketing your feeder cattle and replacement quality heifers direct. It's a common-sense approach to greater profits on your ranch. View the 2024 catalog at topherefords.com and join us at the bull sale February 9th at 1 p.m.
Integrity, excellence, teamwork. At Titan Machinery, we take care of our team. Whether you are an experienced technician or looking to start your career, Titan has a spot for you. Earn a competitive pay with the potential to make in excess of 6 figures. Service techs, come grow with a company that invests in you. Titan Machinery offers company HSA and 401k contributions, free single healthcare, and a generous tool allowance. Plus, we'll provide all of your uniform and safety gear. Apply today at titanmachinery.com/careers.
Attention farmers, increase your revenue and prevent compaction from squeezing your profits with PTG's Central Tire Inflation System, now offered at OK Tire and Service. All controlled from the tips of your fingers, ensuring increased yield and improved fuel economy by adjusting your tire pressure within minutes. You are ensuring the best performance from your tractor on the field and off the field, compatible with any radial tire. Call the OK Tire team today or visit oktireinc.com to learn more.
The AgWeek Livestock Tour is brought to you by Linskov Ranch and Stockman's Livestock Exchange.
Our AgWeek Livestock Tour continues this week. A central Minnesota farm is happy with their switch from dairy cattle to grass-fed beef, and they've expanded into other meats. The Bluffs offer direct farm-to-market sales of grass-fed beef, lamb, hogs, and poultry. Ross Uphoff is the 5th generation on this Stearns County farm that started with the dairy. But when Ross took over a decade ago, he decided to switch to Scottish Highland beef cattle. He and his wife Ashley grew the herd from a handful to 120 today, and they started selling it at farmers markets. They use the dairy barn for housing Icelandic sheep.
we just saw a need for those things at the market. So I think we started with pork first, and that went over pretty well. And we added a little bit of chicken in, and it seemed to work good. And we just know we kind of became the meat people. So.
Customers are also invited to come out to the farm. You can find out more at their website at thebluffsbeef.com. Turning stem cells into protein is a process that many companies are working to perfect as they try to create a product market for lab-grown meat products. The lack of labeling requirements is a concern for these products, but issues could also arise for livestock producers when it comes to protecting their herd genetics. Right now, there are no proposals to compensate the producers for their genetics.
I think the concern from a genetic standpoint is that a lot of beef producers, seed stock producers who are providing genetics for the beef industry, are concerned about all the money that they're spending to improve the genetics of their herd. And then what can potentially happen is these companies can isolate cell lines from these animals, which they then will use to grow their lab-grown meat products and basically piggyback on all the work that these seed stock producers have done in the beef industry.
Currently, there isn't much that livestock producers can do to protect their genetics from these companies. After a couple of rough years, the livestock industry is on its way up. I met with some experts to find out more.
Well, it's an exciting time as we're going into an expansion phase, and as you know, cattle prices are at historically high levels.
Troy Marshall is the Director of Commercial Industry Relations with the American Angus Association. He says the value of genetics have never been higher than they are today. The demand for beef is there more than ever before.
We're really starting to build back a little bit, starting to see signs of expansion, but it's going to be slower than in the past. And we've seen historically strong beef demand, and we're actually in a time of historically tight supplies. So I think we're going to be in a period of extended period of higher prices for commercial cow-calf operators.
But cattle operations are not the only ones on the rise, according to Brad Boner, who is the American Sheep Industry Association president.
We're seeing a rather large jump in the number of sheep operations in the U.S. They are not offsetting at the moment the loss we're seeing in head numbers in the West, but the number of operations, also the number of sheep ranches in the U.S. is on the increase.
Besides the traditional market, sheep producers have found another market to sell into.
Ethnic trade is really on the increase, and so we're seeing a lot of demand from the ethnic market, and that demand keeps growing and growing.
Boner estimates that the ethnic sheep market is equal to or surpassing the traditional sheep market. Ahead on AgweekTV, high yields in 2023 means greater need for grain drying and storage.
When it comes to grain storage and handling solutions, one call does it all. Gateway Building Systems is one of the largest Brock bin dealers in the U.S. Our expert team is dedicated to creating a customized plan for your future success. Expanding your operation has never been easier with our range of Brock solid bins, grain dryers, conveyors, and more. As your trusted partner, we are committed to serving the needs of farmers. Take the first step toward success and call Gateway Building Systems today.
My name is Dawn, and this is my husband, Trent. I've been ranching ever since I was a little girl.
And I married into it.
We believe that if you take care of your land, it will give back to you and to your future generations. We value the helpfulness of finding the information and guidance we need in one place. Thankfully, the Dakota Legacy Initiative can provide just that for us. Visit DakotaLegacyInitiative.com for more information.
Attention growers, agribusinesses, and ice fishermen. Agronomy on Ice, the ag event with a tailgating feel, is back. Put on your cold weather gear and join us on Wednesday, February 7th at Woodland Resort in Devils Lake, North Dakota for this unique networking event. See your friends, wet a line, and try some Scandinavian delicacies. Don't miss the Agronomy on Ice Fishing Derby Tuesday, February 6th. Visit agronomyonice.com for more information. We'll see you Wednesday, February 7th on Devils Lake.
At Vatterstad, we're partnering with North American farmers to create the perfect emergence. We're doing this with new and innovative tillage, planting, and seeding solutions, optimized for the field conditions that you face, and with industry-leading capacities to help you get the job done in short windows of time, so you can maximize yields. Vatterstad, we look forward to growing together.
There's no easy button, no guarantees, or promises of a good year. This is farming. It's unpredictable and demanding, with long days and sometimes stressful nights. It's weathering the storms and coming out successful. Farming isn't for everyone. We thank those who make it their life, because it is for everyone.
AgWeek Weather is sponsored by Bremer Bank. Connect with a banker today at bremer.com.
With most of the region being well below zero, can we expect warmer temps anytime soon? Here's John with our AgriWeather Outlook.
The primary message of the general outlook going forward the next couple of weeks is that the Arctic air, the really cold stuff, is in retreat, going back to Hudson Bay, the high Arctic, and it's going to be warming up quite a bit across most of the northern and central United States where it's been so terribly cold. In the deep south, deep freeze is going to be replaced by heavy rain, wet weather. That's actually seasonal, although with the El Nino pattern returning, it's likely to be a little more seasonal than usual. The deep south, the mid-south in particular, February is the wettest month of the year on average, and we're headed toward that right now. A stormy south. There will be some snow chances in the north, but more east than west, and even in the Pacific Northwest, the very wet weather will be kind of going in retreat. Jet stream pattern. The big thing is that the polar jet stream, the polar vortex disruption, which allowed Arctic air to penetrate much of the United States, while in the corners, the high Arctic areas got much warmer. That's changed now, and so we're seeing more typical air, more mild weather, still relatively cold this week, but we're talking about we'll get some days that go above freezing up into North Dakota and Minnesota, and probably even some days into Manitoba and Saskatchewan. The deep south will certainly go back to some warm weather. I expect a lot of 60s and 70s down here. And the frigid weather in fairly short order this week will be back to Alaska and the Hudson Bay area where it will kind of stay for a while. Out west, probably the worst overall news, generally speaking, is that the very wet weather and the heavy snows and the lower elevation rains in the Pacific Northwest, that's going to be replaced by a drier pattern, but also a very mild pattern. So there'll be some mountain snow melt in the Pacific Northwest that will cause some avalanche and lower elevation flooding concerns. We will likely have a few very warm days along the high plains up against the Rockies this week as we go through the week. As we hit toward the second half of this forecast, I do expect a little more what we call zonal flow, a little more flattening of the pattern. So you're going to see the cold air just kind of hanging out up north. The warm air will become less extreme in the south. The cold weather won't be that cold except up in the general area around Hudson Bay. And generally speaking, as we enter the month of February, it will be with an overall warmer than average weather pattern for the United States. This next week, very rainy weather in the deep south. Some of this will be excessive. There will likely be one, if not two, periods of ice storms through the lower part of the Midwest. Northern parts of that will be snow and still some areas of lake effect snow. And this will likely be still some fairly heavy rain in the Pacific Northwest. As we switch over to the week that straddles the month into February, that rain and snow out west will be retreating as warm air comes north. Could get a little snow in the northern plains, but most of the eastern precipitation is where the heavy stuff will be.
It was October 1st, 2009. We needed some machinery for the farm. We decided to see if we could become a dealer, and that's kind of grown into what it's been today.
We offer basically anything short line. Seed tenders, fertilizer spreaders, sprayers. We can really set ourselves apart by the knowledge we have in those things, by the amount of units we have on hand at all times.
I just have a passion for helping people, getting to know people. It just becomes a lot of fun.
Looking to add non-GMO conventional and organic soybeans to your rotation this year? Soyco International out of Gary, Minnesota is looking for new farmer contracts for the 2023 season. They have proven marketing strategies, partnered with local agronomy expertise to work alongside and provide the certified seeds needed for their contract growers. Soyco International is offering premium prices to boost your operation's bottom line. Reach out to Sean Young today at 218-350-3863 to answer any questions.
Improve the profitability of your ranch by partnering with Top Herefords. Attend the bull sale February 9th at the ranch in Grace City, North Dakota. When you buy a Top Herefords bull, you're getting top-of-the-line genetics and benefits of marketing your feeder cattle and replacement quality heifers direct. It's a common-sense approach to greater profits on your ranch. View the 2024 catalog at topherefords.com and join us at the bull sale February 9th at 1 p.m.
North Dakota's conservation agencies have joined forces to better serve producers and landowners. The Dakota Legacy Initiative brings conservation resources together in one easy-to-navigate website. Easily find programs, events, technical assistance, and educational materials most relevant to you. Come see where collaborative conservation begins. Learn more at dakotalegacyyinitiative.com.
When it comes to grain storage and handling solutions, one call does it all. Gateway Building Systems is one of the largest Brock bin dealers in the U.S. Our expert team is dedicated to creating a customized plan for your future success. Expanding your operation has never been easier with our range of Brock solid bins, grain dryers, conveyors, and more. As your trusted partner, we are committed to serving the needs of farmers. Take the first step toward success and call Gateway Building Systems today.
Many growers saw high yields in 2023, and that means greater need for drying and storage. I talked with Rody Jelleberg at Superior Grain Equipment about their grain drying season. Rody, what was the demand for grain drying equipment like this year here at Superior?
Especially in our region, we had exceptional yields. We had a lot of guys say that they're glad that they bought systems that they did. Grain storage was in high demand this year as well as full-on systems. Guys were able to get in the field and take stuff off when they needed to, and a lot of the elevators were filling up early. So the guys that were buying stuff early and had the space to put their product were in a much better situation than guys that didn't.
We are currently standing in the Superior Grain Equipment manufacturing facility. Walk me through what a typical day is like here at Superior, if there is one.
So a typical day, we're in the Kindred facility. We also have our facility down in Beersford, South Dakota, where we make the roof sheets and the sidewall sheets for our grain bins. But in our Kindred plant here, we build our dryers. We build a lot of our floors, our fans, our unloads. We have everything from, we'll take stuff on a flat sheet of steel, run it through our punch, run it through our brakes, or run it through a roll former to make parts. Then the parts basically come back here into our assembly area where they'll turn it into sections of a dryer or parts of a bin.
Harvest has ended for many farmers in the region. Is now a good time to start thinking about implementing a grain drying facility on their operation?
Now is the best time to do it in the off season. A lot of guys have got their planning done from last year. They kind of know what they have to spend for tax purposes, or they can see what happened last year if there's improvement that they might have missed out on some marketing opportunities. So now is the best time. There's room in the schedule still. I mean, it's prime season to make a decision.
For farmers and producers interested in Superior Grain Equipment, how should they contact you?
Best way is through our website, superiorbins.com. They can call the office. We've got a sales team directly in our office. We've got guys remote. Many different ways to get a hold of us.
Well, thank you for meeting with us today, Rody.
Absolutely.
Rody Jelleberg. For those interested in a Superior grain drying system, please call the number or visit the website on your screen. Still ahead on AgweekTV, a new program helps people who want to farm in the city.
For home delivery of AgWeek, log on to agweek.com or call 800-811-2580.
There's no easy button, no guarantees, or promises of a good year. This is farming. It's unpredictable and demanding, with long days and sometimes stressful nights. It's weathering the storms and coming out successful. Farming isn't for everyone. We thank those who make it their life, because it is for everyone.
Built in North Dakota and delivered across the Midwest, every Pinky home is a custom home, designed for your family, built by ours. And with our on-site lumberyard and generations of experience, we can help build the home of your dreams without breaking your budget. Build something that lasts. Build with Pinky Homes. Get to know us and see all of your customization options at pinkyhomes.com.
A farmer's work is never done. You're not just planting a seed or harvesting a crop. You're growing a legacy. When you're up before dawn and out long past dusk, you need a banker who will work with your schedule, not the other way around. At Choice, we do banking differently, giving farmers like you time back to focus on what really matters. Choice Bank, top North Dakota Ag Bank for 10 years running, and always people first.
Attention growers, agribusinesses, and ice fishermen. Agronomy on Ice, the ag event with a tailgating feel, is back. Put on your cold weather gear and join us on Wednesday, February 7th at Woodland Resort in Devils Lake, North Dakota for this unique networking event. See your friends, wet a line, and try some Scandinavian delicacies. Don't miss the Agronomy on Ice Fishing Derby Tuesday, February 6th. Visit agronomyonice.com for more information. We'll see you Wednesday, February 7th on Devils Lake.
Integrity, excellence, teamwork. At Titan Machinery, we take care of our team. Whether you are an experienced technician or looking to start your career, Titan has a spot for you. Earn a competitive pay with the potential to make in excess of 6 figures. Service techs, come grow with a company that invests in you. Titan Machinery offers company HSA and 401k contributions, free single healthcare, and a generous tool allowance. Plus, we'll provide all of your uniform and safety gear. Apply today at titanmachinery.com/careers.
Minnesota is exploring new opportunities for urban farmers. The state's first Urban Ag Conference at the University of Minnesota in St. Paul drew about 100 people. They talked about issues and opportunities for growers in cities. Kaisa Beatty leads one of the USDA's 17 pilot urban ag service centers that opened this year. They provide the same kind of help for farmers as the ones in rural areas. Beatty says the COVID pandemic really showed how much food can be produced in urban locations and help fill the food supply.
So many new producers that I can think of that are looking for opportunities to grow in urban areas that I think really the possibilities are endless.
The conference was sponsored by the USDA Urban Indoor and Emerging Ag Production Initiative. For more information, go to USDAUrbanServiceCenter.com. Stories you'll only see on AgWeek.com and in AgWeek magazine this week. Ag groups are standing up for a Minnesota dairy that has been trying for almost 5 years to expand. And a new group in South Dakota hopes to be a voice for compromise on controversial ag issues in the state. We appreciate you watching AgWeek TV. Remember to check us out daily on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok to keep up on all your ag news. Have a wonderful week, everyone.